Next question, the Honourable Member, Georgetown St. Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So it's an interesting debate here this morning. The Premier picks and chooses what he wants to override because he couldn't honour the vote. He could override that vote, but he couldn't override the Lieutenant Governor, but he couldn't follow the legislation to begin with when he called the last election. It sounds like the rules apply to everyone but Liberals once again. This Premier has a track record of not listening to Islanders. He didn't listen on school boards. He didn't listen on school closures when we told him not to do it. He refused to honour the vote. And now he's not listening to Islanders who live in unincorporated areas, in particular the Three Rivers unincorporated area. Question to the Premier. Islanders want to be heard. Will you accept that unincorporated areas have a voice in this amalgamation discussion?
Member, Georgetown St. Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So my questions aren't actually for the Minister, they're for the Premier, because this Minister has made it very clear that he doesn't believe that these people are informed enough to make that decision and that they can't decide their own future and they can't decide their own fate. So this is for you, Premier, because we need you. We need your leadership. We need you to step in. Will you step in and make sure that the people living in the unincorporated areas have their voice heard in this Three Rivers amalgamation discussion? Mr. Speaker, so this is quite insulting. It's insulting to the people that are here from unincorporated areas. It's insulting to my intelligence. It's insulting to the intelligence of the House. Every time I ask a question, number one, I ask the Premier, he doesn't answer. Number two, the Minister gets up and talks about the communities who have a voice. This is all about the people who don't have a voice. And he won't understand that because he thinks that they're uninformed. Premier, you need to get up on your feet on this. You need to tell these people yourself. You need to face these people and tell them yourself. Your amalgamation minister is wrong. Islanders living in unincorporated areas are informed. These people are well informed. They're so well informed that when they couldn't have their voice heard, they decided to organize their own vote. Question to the Premier. When this vote is held, will you honour the vote, or will you again impose your will on Islanders when you don't get the result that you want to hear?
Member for Georgetown St. Peters. Thank
you, Mr. Speaker. So again, this is quite insulting to the people who came in on a cold morning here all the way to Charlottetown to hear answers that they're not getting. To the people that are tuned in from District 2 at home, it's insulting to them that you won't answer the question. Premier, will you honour the vote that these people are going to hold?
The Honourable Member for Georgetown St. Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So twice the question has been asked. Would you honour the vote? Neither will answer the question. Neither will answer the question. I think I know what's wrong. I think I know what's wrong with government. I think I know why the Premier is so unpopular in the polls. It's because he won't face issues straight on. I'll face issues straight on. I'll face them straight on. When I was told that it was my responsibility to make sure that these people had a voice, I stepped up to the plate to make that happen. Engaged some wonderful volunteers who are going to hold a vote of their own. Premier, answer the question. Will you honour their vote?
The Honourable Member for Georgetown St. Peters. Thank you,
Mr. Speaker. So this isn't a joke. This is actually real life. These people are organising their voice. The Minister's talking about having some other. Is he going to trot in the steering committee in front of them and give them a presentation of the virtues and say, here's the ballot box vote, like he's doing with all the other communities? This is real life, and these people came for real answers. Question to the Premier. Will you let democracy rule the day, or are you going to let your amalgamation minister dictate a solution instead?
The Honourable Member for Georgetown St. Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It makes me wish there was an actual rule in our Assembly that required ministers to answer questions, because it's embarrassing to take people in here on a cold Friday morning, give up their own time, drive all the way to Charlottetown on their own dime. Unlike you fellas who all have government gas cards to get yourselves here, they paid their own way here today, and they're not getting the answers. Boy, oh boy. This is why democracy isn't working. This is why people are upset. None of you guys seem to get it. None of you guys seem to understand. Some people have a vote. They have a vote, and it goes back to their council. Now we're organising our vote. Question the Premier. Why are you letting your amalgamation minister divide Islanders in rural Prince Edward Island into two classes? Those whose voice is heard and those who aren't.
The Honourable Member for Georgetown St. Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the Minister keeps saying, those who want change are wonderful and great people. Those who don't want to amalgamate into mega communities, well, go on your little way. That's what we're hearing. That message is loud and clear through rural Prince Edward Island. That message is loud and clear through the unincorporated part of Three Rivers. These people are upset. These people are upset that number one, government has completely cut them out of the process. Government has completely ignored them. The government won't answer any questions on it. Acts like our whole fate lies in the hands of whether or not the incorporated areas want it. So if the incorporated areas want it, then they're going to come talk to you and not see if you want it, see how they can force it down your throat. If they don't want it, you won't get a voice. Question to the Premier, how is that healthy for democracy?